So you want to know the best one-liners as a sales professional. You see, I spent the last 17 years as a professional trick-or-treater. Knock, knock. You see, I never worked though. I just exercised and make friends. I just trick-or-treated for free money. And what I'm about to expose is secrets. Some say there are no secrets in sales. I'm about to expose my top 10 one-liners. Number 1, the level with me. How much of what I said do you actually believe close? You see, the number one reason why somebody is not going to do business with you is because of fear. False evidence appearing real. Nobody wants to get screwed. Nobody wants to make the wrong decision. Nobody wants to be rushed. Nobody wants to be pushed. I'm not pushing anybody, I'm pulling them. And I'm going to give you an example of how I would use this close. So, sir, the only objection that I face with you is trust. It's like having a cell phone with no service. All you can really do is play games. I'm not here to play games, so level with me. How much of what I said do you actually believe? The reason why I really like that last question, so level with me, how much of what I said do you actually believe, is because it gains insight for you on how to be able to allow them to think differently. So level with me. How much of what I said do you actually believe? You see, the power of that question is it allows me to isolate the real concern, the main objection. And once they hit me with that main objection, I can say, sir, you obviously have a reason for saying that. Would you mind sharing it with me? You see, people don't buy from me because they understand what I'm explaining. They buy because they feel understood. Number 2, the instant reverse close. Now, one of the best parts about this specific close is I can use it with any sort of situation. Now, when I'm explaining you all these different closes, the idea is that you have them in your bag. You're not necessarily going to use them every single time, but I have them when I need them. The instant reverse close works like this. Yeah, that's exactly why you should do it. That's the close. So no matter what they say, I'm moving, I'm not interested, I don't have any money. Oh, you don't have any money? Yeah, that's exactly why you should do it. Oh, I'm moving. Oh, you're moving. That's exactly why you should do it. And then you're moving forward with your presentation. Number 3, the first time that I hear an objection, typically all I really say is 4 words. Yeah, that's the thing. And I keep moving with my presentation, because typically the first time that they give you an objection, it's more of a smokescreen than an actual objection. So I'll actually continue to move on within my presentation. If they bring it up a second or third time, then I'll be able to use some of these one-liners. Number 4 is the if everything I said close. And it works a little bit something like this. Sir, if everything that I explained to you is exactly the way that it is on this piece of paper, absolutely no more and absolutely no less, do you think it would be a better idea to actually, continue to do nothing and to be in the situation that you're in, or actually take advantage of this opportunity and step into a better situation? Well, guess what? Everything that I said is exactly how it is. There is no more, there is no less. Also, in your first 30 seconds of your presentation, you want to use lines like, hey, I'm pretty much going to cut to the chase. Hey, I'm going to give you the short version. A specific question that I like to use is a soft question that's, I don't know if you know, because my whole goal in the first 30 seconds is how much curiosity that I can create. If I can create imagery, if I can paint a picture in their mind, then they can see it, and their thoughts create emotion, creates feeling, they judge me, and they end up making a decision through that judgment. Number 5, I love this. This is murder, as J. Douglas Edwards says. It's called the secondary question close. Now, the concept of this close works like this. I'm going to pose a minor question. Then without pausing, I'm going to say, by the way, and then the final question is the major question that I'm asking. And it works something like this. I think, John, the biggest decision we have to make today is, how quickly you're going to actually start utilizing these golf clubs. By the way, do you play at a public course or do you belong to a private course? You see, I posed the major question. I said, by the way, and then I hit them with the secondary question, which if they've agreed to the second question, well, I just started golfing. I haven't joined a private club yet, so I guess it would be public, right? They're actually agreeing to the decision. So maybe in solar, if I'm outside of their home, when we do install the panels, they'll all be installed on this side of the roof, and it'll all be completed in one day, and that's what's going to produce 110% of your electricity. By the way, when we install the inverter, would you want it placed like on the outside of the home next to the meter or inside of the garage? You see, I'm posing that secondary question to get agreeance for the first question. The secondary question close is very powerful, but you need to be able to internalize that material, reflex so it's a natural part of you. Number 6, the hidden agenda. It sounds way too good to be true. You see, that's the greatest enemy, is the client's fear. They're thinking in the back of their mind, I don't want to get screwed. I don't want to make the wrong decision. Now, those are called lingering questions, which is a psychology of no. If they bring it up like, hey man, it just sounds way too good to be true. What's the catch? I'm playing defense at this position and they're in the driver's seat. One of the most powerful techniques in all of selling is control, taking the command position, taking the leading position. That if you were an adult holding a 5-year-old's hand across a highway, you're not going to tell them to lead you. I'm the assistant buyer. I take their hand and I lead them through the process. So this is how this close specifically works. Bottom line, you're going to fall into one or two categories. Category one, just everything that I just explained to you makes complete and total sense. You know, somebody that's already benefited from this program. Or category two, it just sounds way too good to be true and you're probably sitting there like, wait a second, what's the catch? The catch is simple. Now I have their full attention and I can actually position the value or go in the direction that I want to go with that sale. So number 7, I want to think it over. I want to think about it. I need a good one-liner for that specific situation because that will happen a lot to you guys. What I like to do when somebody tells me they want to think it over is I start with something called stimulus, pause, response. I listen to their question, I pause, and then I might ask them a question like this. Bill, may I just have your permission to be blunt with you? Typically, when I get this far into the presentation with people, sometimes people tend to make this a bigger decision than it really is, when deep down you probably know what the better situation is for you. Now, if everything that I told you was exactly the way that it is, no more or no less, would you lean more towards the left or the right? Being able to put them into that situation of a combination to create the decision is very effective. The main reason people want to think of it over is because they're making it a bigger decision than it really is, right? Deep down, they do know what they want to do. They just want to get screwed. So you got to be able to level with them. You've got to create that certainty and reduce the anxiety from the families that you serve. Number 8 is called the triplicate of choice close. Fire coming up right now. So make sure you stop checking your Facebooks and start facing your checkbooks. If you're not taking notes, it's like eating spaghetti with a spoon. You're going to get a lot on you, but you're not going to get a lot in you. The triplicate of choice close works as if I am going to start it a lot higher, then I'm going to go way higher, then I'm going to go to what it actually is. And the 3 pillars of being able to stick this close is the transitions and the beginning. The beginning is the ideal situation when a family gets involved with this product or service is they're willing to invest X to be able to be a part of this, and an additional 20 to 30 bucks or an additional 50 bucks a month doesn't take food off their table where they see the value. Now, there are the fortunate few that are rich and they pay for the entire program up front. They pay for all the upfront costs, they pay for the labor, they pay for the installation. They're rich, they're fortunate, they can do that. Now, because of certain circumstances and situations, there's some families that could only be involved with this product or with this service if we were to actually exempt you from category A and category B and do something a little bit different. Now, this is what we would propose. You see, for solar, for example, the way that I would stick that close is, John, the ideal situation when a family gets involved with, putting solar on their roof is they're willing to pay the upfront costs and they realize the 20 to 30 bucks a month additional isn't going to take food off their table, but having the control and predictability would be a good thing. Now, there are the fortunate few that are rich. They can pay for this entire thing out of pocket. They write a check and they pay for everything. Now, because of certain circumstances and situations, there's some families that could only be involved with this program if we could show you a way that you would be completely exempt from all of the upfront costs, which is one of the main reasons that deters people from getting involved, but also keep you at the same amount that you were already donating to the utility company and give you that control and predictability. Now, if we were to actually include you with that 3rd category, there would be a few things we would want out of it from you. Now, how many years have you even lived here? You see, I'm utilizing a lot of takeaways, the tonality, the voice, the range, the inflection. You might hear a great one-liner and stick it word for word, but if you don't have the right voice inflection, tonality, diction, body language, if it's not you, if it's not a reflex, if it's not natural, then it's like putting 14 sprays of cologne and then walking into an elevator. People are gonna be like, dude, how much cologne did this kid spray on himself? Or how much perfume did this girl put on? The idea is if I sound like everybody else, people will not listen to you. So you need to have that correct amount of charisma, charm, and being able to talk to people at the right frequency. It's not what I say. It's not how I say it. It's how I can make them feel with the frequency of my voice. Number 9, this is my absolute favorite. It's called reverse selling. So what is reverse selling? See, as salesmen, we constantly tell people on all the reasons why they should do it. That we have the best product, that we have the best service, that we have the best this, that, this. But at the end of the day, what reverse selling does is it actually helps build trust, but it's actually a technique that I developed to be able to create the decision. And it goes something like this. Mary, before I explain to you all the reasons why so many people have gotten involved with this program and had so many advantageous options moving forward, I'm gonna first tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. And then what you do is you explain to them the reasons why they would not want to do it. For example, if I was selling, let's say, an alarm system, before I explain to you all the reasons why you should protect your home and family, I first want to explain to you the reasons you would never do this. If I was sitting here trying to sell you an entire security system, more than likely you're not going to buy one, and typically the main reason when somebody buys a security system is right after they had a break-in. The only way you would do this is if this was a situation where you were actually serious about the protection of the family and the home. Now, if we were to have this system put into the home, do you think you would use it more when you're away from the house and nobody's here, or would you also set it at night when everybody's vulnerable sleeping? Both. You see, I set up that question to create the decision. I'm asking a lot of loaded questions. Maybe if it's solar, before I explain to you all the reasons why so many people have decided to opt into this program, I first want to explain to you the reasons you would opt out. Now with solar, you have leases and you have loans. A loan puts them into debt, but it gives them ownership. A lease gives them the ability to pay less on a bill they're never going to cancel, but it doesn't necessarily give them that ownership. So if I'm selling the lease against the loan or the loan against the lease, all I'm really doing is I'm talking about the benefits of that product against the other. Before I explain to you all the reasons why so many families have gotten involved with this program, I first want to explain to you the reasons you would never partake in this, okay? If I was sitting here trying to put you into any sort of debt, that's probably something you would never partake in, especially if that debt lasted for 25 years and had a bunch of interest attached to it. Like, people aren't taking out a second mortgage to put a solar panel on their roof. They're doing this because they want control, predictability, and they want to be able to save money on a bill they were never going to cancel. The only way you would do it is if I could show you a way that there would be absolutely no loan involved, that there would be absolutely no debt, no interest. That what we would do is propose the idea of utilizing the roof as a power plant. You produce the power on site, and you're no longer at the mercy of the power company. Sun goes up, bills go down. You see, so no matter what product or service that you sell, being able to build trust, empathize, but also explain to the homeowners all the reasons they wouldn't do it, not only the reasons that they would do it. Number 10, my most powerful one-liner, maybe the most basic, but this specific close is if I go through this process with you. If I go through this process with you, you will do it. That might sound like a very basic line, but if you look somebody square in the eye and you say, John, if I go through this process with you, you would do it. It's just the hardest part of my job is timing. I'm just looking for the time when we both have it. Because I was the one that put together the report, and what was so unique about the design is you guys just get absolutely crushed in sun. Like, the whole entire back of the roof gets so much sun, I was able to use less panels. So I put about an hour and a half putting together the design. It's about 96% of the way complete. All I need to know is roughly, like ballpark, what you guys spend a month for the power, and then I'd be able to do two things. One, I'd show you exactly where the panels would be laid out, and secondly, what your bill would have been last month if you would have already had the panels. Now keep in mind, that's for solar specifically, but no matter what product or what service that you're selling, that level of conviction, that level of enthusiasm, which is 51% of the entire sales process, is going to be the reason that somebody moves forward. Because they might say, hey, he looks the part, he sounds the part. They might not understand 80% of what you say, 90% of what you say, 93% of what you say they might not actually gain, but they are reacting to the range, the volume, the pace, the diction, the body language, the tonality, the voice inflection. You see, if I started to talk to you a little bit different like this, you might actually perceive it different. Or here's the deal, it is serious. We're not trying to come down on anybody, however, it is important. Or maybe if I called somebody on the phone, hey, John, how's it going? It's Taylor. Hey, my name is Taylor McCarthy, actually. The reason I was reaching out was a little bit different. I'm just gonna give you the short version. I don't know if you guys kind of knew about it. You see, I'm taking the command position. That's why your voice is so important. Now, when you try these one-liners, you have to understand there's 5 steps to the learning process. You need to be aware and alert. You need to be conscious. Once you're conscious and you're ready to take in the information, the second step is repetition. You need to hear, read, write, say something 6 times to gain 62% of that retention. If you hear one of these one-liners on the YouTube, take out a pen, pause the video, rewind 10 seconds, write it out word for word. Then you can internalize it. Once you internalize it, it will become a natural part of you. Once it's a natural part of you,
then you reinforce it, and that's how you gain a skill set. This is what we call Operation Go-Go Gadget Bank Account. I'm rooting for you guys. I'm the underdog, right? I'm a door-to-door salesman for 17 years. People don't like salespeople. Well, guess what? We are servants, and we are in the business of serving people, and we are gonna carry our faith, courage, and enthusiasm to every door or every phone call, because guess what? I will win. You wanna know why I'll win? Because I have faith, courage, and enthusiasm. Use these one-liners. I hope it helped. We'll see you on the next episode. If you haven't already, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe on the video. I'm here for you guys. We making plays.